What up, it's your boy Wildest 2K. Welcome to the third stream. Your boy back at it. Y'all already know I'm not really with the small talk. Let's get to the topics, man. We're gonna start off with a video reaction. And this video is actually from my my podcast, the group chat Uncut. And we were talking about, so just to give you guys like a layout before I even play this so you guys can get real context. AR and I were doing a podcast one day and we were on the subject of Tupac. We really, like, to be honest, we really weren't that invested. We were just kind of chopping shit, man. We were just talking about Pac and we were just like, oh man, you know, Tupac prior to Death Row wasn't really a superstar, and that post Death Row when he signed with Suge is when he blew up. And it was just a comment that was just like fly by night. I didn't really care. Well, AR was like, yeah, man, he really wasn't, popping until after Death Row. So, of course, after we released the clip, they glazing in the comments, trying to cook me in the comments like, oh, he don't know shit about Pac. He's too young to know about Pac. And what is he talking about? And, we had named a couple albums, or maybe even named a song we thought was an album. Like I said, it really wasn't like I didn't invest too much into it. But I got time today, cuz, you know what I'm saying? That was my energy when we came back for the pod again, where I was like, okay, I'm going to address this. And me and AR, we talked on the phone about it. And I was like, yo, next pod, I'm going to address it. He's like, man, why you even care? You know what I'm saying? But for me, I was like music is my passion, my life. Like, I live this. So it's like, and I do content daily. So I'm like, I'm not going to not address whatever I need to address. And if the debate is whether Pac was popping prior to Death Row, then I'm going to do my research. Then I'm going to go back to the drawing board, because I've already done like I guess you can call it a documentary. It was really like a versus with Pac and Big. It was like one of my first videos on my channel. And I went pretty deep diving into their lives and, how they came up and all that. So, but I needed to kind of like get a refresher, and I went into it. So anyways, this is my response to that. I'm going to go ahead and just play the clip. What up, it's your boy Wildest 2K. We back at it. Nah, that ain't the clip. Hold on one second. Pac, correct me if I'm wrong. You said that prior to Death Row, Pac ain't really had no hits like that.
Those hits that we love got popping like after the fact.
Post Death Row. All right, cool. Now, pre-Death Row.
Yeah, like doing Death Row.
In 1991, Pac dropped Tupacalypse Now. It sold 900K. It went gold. Yeah. Here's the hits. Trapped, Brenda's Got a Baby, If My Homies Call. It's just Brenda's Got a Baby. Y'all already know what the fuck these other songs are. Then in 1993, 2 years later, he dropped Strictly For My Ends. That sold 1.6 million. That actually went platinum. He dropped Holla If You Hear Me. Y'all couldn't sing the fucking hook if I asked you right now on the spot. I Get Around, Keep Your Head Up. And Papa's song. We don't know what the fuck that is. 1995, Me Against the World. Sold 3.5 million and went platinum. Suge wanted to recruit that mother. He was on top of the world. So in 4 years, Pac sold 6 million records. That is pre-Death Row. Now walk with me. This is when signing with Death Row. All Eyes on Me sold 5.8 million copies and it went diamond. California Love, 2 of America's Most Wanted. How Do You Want It? I Ain't Mad at You. And I added this. Y'all know this is a fucking hit. Ambitions as a Rider. Now, this is November of 1996, the same year. Don Columinati, 3.9 million went platinum. Now, in just 1 year with Death Row, Pac sold 9.7 million records. Prior to Death Row, only sold 6 million records. He would have doubled his fucking stock. I'm still right. Post Death Row, Pac is the best. Suck my dick.
Got a present for you, sucker.
So here's my take though. I just want to address, like, I guess my aggression in the video is kind of like, bro, I just get sick of folks in the comments with like just the glazing, man. And there is no two ways about it. Pac indeed sold 6 million records prior to Death Row and prior to signing with Suge. And I get that. And that's why I was making that a solid point to say, yes, here's Pac's accolades. Yes, he was on the rise. And maybe I didn't give enough credit to that. And I admit that. Okay, that's my first fault. However, since we gonna go there and y'all want to glaze in the comments and keep challenging my knowledge of music, I'm like, bet. And now I'm gonna cook you. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what you gonna do when the wild man run wild on you, face ass? So I was like, okay, bet. So I did my research and realized through my research, I actually thought I was gonna be wrong. I said, let me go to the drawing board. Let me see what's cracking. I'm gonna come back and report to it. And if I'm wrong, I'll cop to it. But when I did it, I was like, yo, Pac was set to double his stock under Death Row. And if you think about it, right, as I was going through the hits from pre-Death Row, Pac ain't had that many hits like that. Not like this is what I'm saying. Pac has this, his fans revere him, glorify him as like an untouchable deity. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if that's even a fucking word, it's like, he's Pac. Oh, he has so many hits, face that. Like, I'm just saying, like, Pac had, just like his first album was like, he had Brenda's Got a Baby. And it was like, for me to go through the list and go through the album was like, he just had Brenda's, if that was it from the album. So then from like 91 to signing with Death Row in like 96, 97 or whatever, I think it was 96, was, bruh, he had maybe like a handful of hits. Then he All Eyes on Me, which is my favorite Pac album. He's got like 5 hits just on one album. He sells 6 million out the gate. Sells 3 on Illuminati. So you see the Don Illuminati. So you see that his trajectory was gonna go crazy. So post Death Row Pac, just a way more evolved artist. I mean, the scale was just climbing. I guess that's all I was trying to say. It really wasn't that deep, but you know, I had to like, you know, put my bid in for that. But okay, I got another video I want to talk about. It's in regards to Rick Ross, what he said Drake's not on his level and calls Iceman horrendous. It's on World Star. I'm gonna play it.
You're not putting Drake at your level.
No, see, you might be, I could see it in your eyes, you might be confused with the numbers and all of the fake numbers, flood the marketplace, 50 something. That shit ain't nothing. Remember what I told you, the streets are the streets. If Drake was what he thought, what you think he was or what he thought he was, he would have been able to clear all this shit up, address it, and been moved on. He's still suing the label. That's like him. He might sue you for speaking of him on this situation.
Did you listen to Iceman, the new?
I listened to some of it. My engineer it was horrendous. My homies actually sat there and they lost an hour of their life for this shit.
Listen to it.
Yeah.
Are they recovering?
Yeah, trauma.
It's tough.
It is.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Now, by the way,
when you've been waiting after you seen people put ice blocks in the middle of places and promoted and marketed and the world knew what day it was coming out and the shit came out and really, folded.
But have you personally listened to every single one of the tracks in the new album?
No, I couldn't do it. I mean, Pitchfork gave it, I said it was mid. Mid meant 5. Pitchfork gave it a 4 point something. I don't know. But it was like, no one's my friend. You left me alone. Oh my. It's that type of shit. You got to be a boss out here, man.
So nothing that would be in your new playlist that you were showing?
Was it anything in my recent playlist?
I didn't hear all of them. I don't know if you got to, by which one did you stop? 5?
I'm not
did
sure.
You make it to 5 or 6?
I'm not sure. You got to realize when it was going.
Here's the interesting thing about an artist giving a critique about another artist is that Rick Ross is about to drop his album. So one thing I got to say is, since you got so much to say about Iceman, your shit better fucking slap. Your shit better be fire. See, if Jay-Z was making this kind of critique, I think folks would actually get behind that and be like, oh, Jay think that? Oh, man, okay. Jay putting his executive ears on to listen to this. But Rozay, but you still an artist, bro. So it's finna be your time. So are you that arrogant? You think you about to drop another one? I mean, I talked about Rozay album last week. My thoughts were that I just hope he would finally show some kind of vulnerability. He would finally show some human-like traits instead of just flexing the whole album or talking about things that we don't quite understand because we're not multi-millionaires. I mean, and honestly, bro, at the core of all this is hate, you know, and he's like talking about numbers being inflated and all that. Let me go back to that one part. I want to, because I had something to say about the beginning.
Drake at your level?
No.
Okay, let me just say this. With Rozay saying that Drake's not at his level, right? I ain't mad at it. I don't agree, and I don't think the world agrees. It's okay, but as an artist, you're supposed to feel like that. And for, you know, Rozay to feel like, I'm sure he feel like he's top 10, top 5, dead or alive. You're supposed to feel that way. So for Ross to be like, Drake ain't on my level, like he could be speaking like he think lyrically or he think, you know, he's just more talented. However, you know, objectively, that's not true. But he's within right to think that.
You're not putting Drake at your level.
No, see, you might be.
But also, I think, see, this is what these other artists are doing when they hate on Drake. And he still loses at this. Rick Ross still thinks that his executive position within the industry, him being a boss and viewing Drake being under a label as not being a boss and not dictating what he can do as a man and do and say what he want and go where he want. Rick Ross is still saying he's not on my level because I'm a boss. He's not on my level because, and at this point, not true, but he's like, I think I got more money than him. Or, you know, they move the goalposts because they can't do what Drake has done and won't do what Drake has done. I mean, if I don't ever see an artist topping what Drake has done. But then again, we said that about Michael, and here we go with Drake with more slaps than the Beatles, more slaps than Michael, like Michael Jackson. It's like, I mean, maybe in the next 25 years, 30 years, maybe we can see. I don't know, though. I don't ever see it happening, you know? So, hold on.
I could see it in your eyes.
You're not putting Drake at your level.
No, see, you might be. I could see it in your eyes. You might be confused with the numbers and all of the fake numbers flood the marketplace, 50 something. That shit ain't nothing. Remember what I told you? The streets are the streets. If Drake was what he thought, what you think he was or what he thought he was, he would have been.
You're talking about numbers inflating and all that, which is what Kendrick did. So it's funny that he's accusing Drake of that, saying the streets is the streets. And buddy, I don't give a fuck about the streets, buddy. I don't give a fuck about the streets, bro. Nobody gives a fuck about the streets. We talk about the streets like the streets are streets, man. What's the streets fucking with? Nobody cares, bro. Like, who's putting that much stock and weight into what the streets think about music? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand as fans, we dictate what's hot. Yes. But when you talk about the street, I know Rick Ross is talking about a particular subset of the hood, but they're not even the consumers. I'm serious, and I'm not trying to be like divisive, but go look at any major artist. Go just YouTube Future Rolling Loud, Kevin Gates a concert. It'd be hella just fucking white people in the crowd. Like, honestly, like, I don't even think they contribute to the streets contribute to the fan base, bro, like that for real. Like, I'm just being honest, bro. So it just, This shit weird, bro, for Rick Ross.
Able to clear all this shit up, address it, and been moved on. He's still suing the label. That's like him. He might sue you.
And then he's talking about suing and all this, bro. Like, it's just a dead issue at this point. I didn't think, look, I didn't Drake suing the label. I didn't think that was the hoodest thing to do. But again, you see what I'm saying? Nobody give a fuck about the streets, bro. Like, when it come down to it, Drake is a businessman. That was a business move. And if you are in the industry and you have an opportunity to be a part of the industry and be in that position, I would hope that you would go to unless you want to go the Pooh Shiesty route. You see what happens when a man handle his business. Now Drake about to be out of the deal and he's about to roll into another situation by trying to handle things the right way when he felt like he was mishandled. Then you look at an artist like Pooh Shiesty, who's handling it the way Rick Ross is implying he should handle it, which Rick Ross is, what has Rick Ross done that's hood? Like, y'all seen Rick Ross beat anybody up or take nothing from somebody? I haven't. I've seen him portray a drug dealer for years. I've seen that. I've seen him lose weight, but he's still fat. I don't know what that's about, but that's none of my business. But I'm just saying, you want to go to Pooh Shiesty route, go to Pooh Shiesty route. And then be sitting in jail. Bro, go to prison. But I don't care. It's your life. All right, man. So let's get into my so now that I've sat with Iceman for a little over a week now, and I really wanted to sit on it, pause. I didn't just want to jump into my rating. And I see other channels, and I frown upon this. I'm going to be honest, and I'm not hating, do you? But I see other channels that will listen to an album and then do the album breakdown within like a day or two. And I understand it's like, I got to get the content out. I got to be the first to do it. But no one can respect you doing that, because everybody knows that when an album drops, you got to sit with that album, because you know it's going to be a song you hear that you like, but then after a couple of days, you like, man, that shit hard. It grew on me. Pause. Or, man, I tried, but I just ain't feeling this record. So I'm going to be as objective as possible. This is a heavy mixture of me sitting with the album for a good period of time, listening daily, really taking it in. And also I'm hearing other people, friends or associates be like, okay, what y'all like, and seeing what they like and seeing what the consensus is, even if I don't really like a certain record. You know, and for example, and one example of that would be Ran to Atlanta. I don't really like that record, but I'm hearing people is rocking with it, so I put it on the list. So here's my Iceman rating. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name the songs on each of three of the albums that I think are hard, and I'm gonna just rate the album. So Iceman, Dust, Janice, Ran to Atlanta, Burning Bridges, What Did I Miss, Plot Twist, National Treasure, Too Hard for the Radio, Lil Birdie, and Don't Worry. I'm going to give Iceman a 8.5. It's pretty hard. Is it no skips? No, because then that would be like a classic album and that would be like a 10. I don't rate Iceman as like a classic album, so that's objectively 8.5. And that's what I'm hearing other people say. It's like, it's a solid album. It's dope. For me, subjectively, personally, I give the album like 8.59. You know, I tilt that way, more like a 9. It's a really, really good album. All right, Maid of Honor, not good. Maid of Honor is not a good album. I thought that, okay, if I continue to listen to it, and maybe I'm just like first listen, second listen, third, this is not that kind of album. You got to really sit with it. You got to really rock with it. I'm riding around the streets just checking it out, and I still couldn't shake the certain songs like Cheetah Print. That was like, the intro, Outside Tweaking. I'm like, I tried. I was like, maybe it's a record that would and couldn't. So here's what I like from Maid of Honor. Road Trips, Which One, Q&A, Stuck, Goose and the Juice. Completely objectively, I'm going to rate Maid of Honor like a 6. All right, it's mid. if you want to know my personal opinion, I'm gonna give it like a 6. I'm gonna give it like a 6.5 as well. Just my personal listen, because there's some songs I really like though that are pretty solid. The songs that I do like on Made of Honor are solid records. I don't know. You guys can tell me in the comments. All right. And then Habiti. I call it Habibi, but I think it's Habiti. And here's the records I like from that one. WNBA, Her Not There with Sexy Red. Classic, Gen 5, Fort Worth, and Prioritizing. Now, Habiti, I think, is better than Made of Honor. I like Habiti. It's pretty hard. Objectively, I'm going to give Habiti the same as Made of Honor. Again, just objectively, what I think the world would agree upon, I would have to give Habiti like a 6.5, 7. For me, like my personal, what I think of Habiti, I'm going to give it like a 7. I'm going to go up in a higher range. Pretty solid, man. Pretty solid album, man. And so that's my rating. I don't look when it comes to Iceman. I'm not gonna lie. With the past week, I felt pressure to do these crazy breakdowns of who he's talking about in each song, where the hidden gems, and I have to realize that for me as a creator, personally, that's just not me. You know, I don't care that much about these personal relationships. That's just me. I'm more into the art. I'm more into the music. Now, do I scroll Instagram and if I see somebody give me a breakdown of like, oh, he talking about DeMar DeRozan or whatever, do I listen and I'm like, oh, I didn't catch that? Of course, I'm like, yo, I'm like a fan of that, but that's not my steez, you know, respectfully. So I'm not, you know, but I did notice one standout record, Make Them Cry, that Drake talks about 40, which is like, that's his engineer, that's his best friend. He's never had anything bad to say about 40 until now. And nobody's talking about it. When they break down all the disses, and I'm not necessarily calling this like a hard diss to 40, but he did diss him. And I'm going to break it down why. But no one's talking about this at all. So I figured if I am going to try to go that route, let me point out what I heard myself that no one's brought up. So it's called the record Make Them Cry. And let me just put up here, Make Them Cry. And it plays at 52.
Yeah.
All right.
They be going up to. Feel like 40 won't even listen to my words when he knows I'm in a load of trouble. I'm in the cut just loading rebuttals. And I got a bunch of hits on my hands, see the swollen knuckles. I try to tell him it's working out for me now. He say then show your muscles. Prove to me that you're still as strong when it's only us two. They know you thorough with bread, but there's some shit you gotta pony up to. Basically he's saying I got growing up to do, I gotta dig deep. I really hate those two words, they never bring peace. I'm at the Bulgaria in Turkey with my bitch and we ain't come here for no big teeth. Nah, I came here to turn a new leaf and maybe finally get some sleep.
So, in short, 40 is telling Drake, like, man, you need to grow up, man. Like, you look, I'm gonna go to the beginning so I can just, you know, really break the bars down.
Feel like 40 won't even listen to my words when he knows I'm in a load of trouble.
So he's saying, I feel like 40 won't even listen to my words when he knows I'm in a load of trouble. It's almost like his friend's not there for him when he needs him the most. But 40 been with him for so long. Is 40 just overhearing about his problems when he has the world at his feet, the world in his hands? So you just like, bro, you complaining about what? Like, what's up? You know, and 40, I believe I think 40 is a little older than Drake. And maybe just feels like Drake's immature, you know, and he'll get into that. Like,
I'm in the cut just loading rebuttals. And I got a bunch of hits on my hands, see the swollen knuckles. I try to tell him it's working out for me now. He say then show your muscles.
So then he's like, yo, I'm loading rebuttals. I'm responding. I'm gearing up to respond to these records. I'm getting back to the hits. I'm doing it. And he's like, hey, man, then show me. Because you haven't dropped anything. So show me, show the world. But this part.
Cool to me that you're still as strong when it's only us two.
And yeah, prove it. You know, prove you're just as strong when it's only us two. Maybe 40 is like, wants to work with Drake more. Maybe he's like, you ventured off with maybe some other, I don't know. It was just like, it was just interesting to hear these bars and be like, no one's brought that up to say that it seems as though there's been some trouble in paradise where Drake and 40 may have been at odds. That's a possibility, man. Even with you fight with your friends.
They know you thorough with bread, but there's some shit you gotta pony up to. Basically, he's saying I got growing up to do. I gotta dig deep.
You know, yeah, grow up, man. Like, you worried about frivolous shit, man. Grow up, you know. And then I think just the part about, you know, dig deep is 40 maybe feels as though Drake's just could get more real about what's really going on in his psyche. But I think Drake is just a very vulnerable artist. Unless 40 knows his friend the way he knows his friend, he's like, you being fake vulnerable. I mean, that's a possibility as well for somebody to be fake vulnerable. I think Drake does come off like he ain't really telling it, like, not the whole truth. You know, he ain't really giving you the real play-by-play. He just kind of breezing over what's up, you know, and that's a possibility. All right, man. So we get into a few more topics, man. So do I want to get into the DMX shit? I think I'm gonna save that for the next stream because I have a rant I want to go on about DMX the same way I did Pac, but I don't want to do two legends and just start cooking on two legends like that, man. Okay. What should we talk about? Why don't I? So the question here is, why don't I rave about Glorilla as much as I rave about Lotto? Because no matter how hard Glorilla works, and no matter how hard Glorilla tries, she's in the male column of rap. I understand that Glorilla has overtaken a transformation since her single, which is FNF, right? So when she dropped single FNF, she was pretty hit. She was a cute girl, but it was like, whoa, she real hood, you know, real ratchet. And she was rough around the edges. And she came around to, you know, getting some work done, to be honest, and starting to really get in more into her femininity. However, she, again, and no matter how hard she tries, she can't stray away from her sound. If you never knew what she looked like, you'd be like, is that a man? Like, hold on, is that just like an older teenager? Like, I'm serious, man. Like, Glorilla that's why I don't even, like, of course I'll bring her up in the grand scheme of things as a female artist, but I don't bring Glorilla up to be like, oh, to sit her beside these artists such as Lotto or Meg or JT or Young Miami, Cardi B. I just don't, because, and with all due respect, like, Glorilla, she can get it. I ain't saying nothing in terms of her attraction, but I just don't see her that way. And I don't think the world is convinced of that. You know, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And that's why I say I can't. So I rave about Glorilla. She's fire. She could rap with the men. Like, this is an ultimate compliment I'm giving. I know it sounds like I'm backhanded. It's like a backhanded compliment. It's not. It's just an ultimate compliment to be like, yo, you're not in the category of the female rappers to me. You spit like the men. You would be over there with Moneybag and Finesse 2 Times to be like, look. But then again, and that's on me. I noticed that when I went back to edit my videos, is like, I brought up Memphis rappers and I didn't bring up Glorilla, and I gotta say that she's top in coming out of Memphis. Very talented. She's just not. She doesn't represent femininity in the way that this movement has been about, which is a bunch of fuckery. So I'm not giving it that much credit, like in that regard, but nonetheless, feminist movement. So okay, someone said, I'm losing faith in Tip's album due to low interest in the single. Yeah, man, it does feel like Tip's leading single for his upcoming album just like came and went. Did you guys notice that? T.I.'s single. It's Let Him Know, right? Is it no? Because then he dropped Trauma Bond too. He dropped Trauma Bond, and Trauma Bond just like came and went. Like, and you know what? Off top, I can't even sing the hook to you. I do remember the beat. The beat hard, like doom 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 doom. T.I. Let's see if it pops up. T.I. Let Him Know.
To the checker flag, ready through the red light. 12 can be gun and won't pull over till I'm dead right. Ride till the sunrise, can't about no bedtime. Ain't gon' get no bitch and ride with me.
Kinda got like a West Side, like,
from West Side, on the best side. With a Crenshaw, my other mind, nigga.
Yeah, I just, bruh. Tip just tipping, man. And hey, I'm geek because I'm from Atlanta. I'm a Tip fan, man. I got Urban Legend on the wall. Like, I'm a Tip fan. I'm geeked about it, but yeah, I'm kind of, you know what? I can agree with that. I've lost some faith in T.I.'s rollout and what the album might be. Because, I mean, if this is your lead single and this represents what's to come, then we just expecting the same old, like, not the Tip that we love. We not looking at Paper Trail. Those days is gone, bro. Let it go. I have let it go. You let it go. All right. Paper Trail's no more. And then it's just like, let him know we was rocking to it for like a month or so, and honest, it just came and went. And then he had the other single, which is Trauma Bond. And then Trauma Bond's like Trauma Bond's kind of mid. You know? So, yeah, I get that perspective of losing faith in Tip a little bit on what this album is going to be. I mean, is he really going to bring it? You know? But, hey, man, I appreciate y'all. We can end it there. I appreciate y'all rocking with me.